think I've got a checkup or something coming in a few days. I'm going up there. I'm also going to use the opportunity to have a lot of photos taken and do some interviews and that in connection with this benefit gig.
That's going to be your first full-length gig since your surgery, is that right?
Well, yeah, it's, I mean, I'm still kind of coming to terms with grasping life again, you know, and realising that my life is not about to end. And there's been a big gap since my last actual gig, which is over a year. Now, I've never gone so long, ever, anything like that, without playing. You know, the most I've ever gone without playing in all these years is a couple of weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that, you know. So it's I can't say it's nerve-wracking. I think I remember how to do it. But it's actually, it is very, very gratifying that I'm able to, my first gig, you know, in a year, you know, my first gig after coming out of hospital and everything, that it should be for the benefit of Adam Brooks Hospital, of which I'm now a great fan.
Was it difficult for you not playing for all that time?
I'm one of these people, I'm not one of these people actually that sits at home all day practicing playing guitar. I must admit, you know, my guitar goes in this bag, it don't come out again until I walk out on stage, you know. So it's nothing to me to... Look, I'm looking at it now, and I'm not hurting its feelings, look, it's I'm ignoring it, you see. Yeah, no, you know, I don't know, a lot of funny things. It'll be a bit odd, but I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, and also to trying to get back to playing with it, you know, without this a cancer threatening me.
So, what did it change the way you played then?
Well, to the extent, I mean, I remember that this tumour that they took out of me, which weighed 3 kilos, was in my stomach, and I was still playing at the end of last year before I went into the hospital, you know. Yeah. And my guitar was actually rocking on when I was on the stage. Yeah. It's actually rocking on this tumor, so big, right? So that was all a bit peculiar, but that's better now. Guitar can lie flat again.
So while you were performing with the tumor, did it feel heavy, or were you just used to it?
I try and remember now. I mean, what it was like, you know, just walking around with the thing, and it was. I mean, it was a great big lump, right? Yeah. And it was. I mean, I've usually been, you know, fairly kind of slim. Suddenly, I've acquired this huge pot belly, you know, which is tumour sticking out, and that took some getting. You know, I mean, all this stuff like it was sort of to the left side of my stomach, and I find if I lie one way in bed, the thing's really big, man. You can see, and you just turn over the other way, where it spread itself out a bit more, so it wasn't so big, you know, and stuff like that. I mean, it didn't, like I say, it was the business with the guitar, you know, would balance on it and that, and generally it wasn't much fun, and I was glad to be rid of it.
Did you feel immediately different when you woke up after surgery? Did you feel lighter?
Oh, well, that's right. I was lighter. I was lighter by the weight of the guts and gizzards they'd taken out of me, and also I'd lost a couple of stone easy on my body weight. You know, it really knocks you out. And so a long time after the operation was spent I mean, like, well, I was in the hospital for some weeks with infections and things, and quite dangerously ill then.
Oh, blimey.
And then when finally I came home, I mean, I was very, very weak, and just trying to build my strength up, like walking around the block one time, you know, and it's tough going. You're sort of going, oh, I can't go any further, you know, you're hanging onto the walls. And okay, come on, you can make it.
Yeah.
And my friends are helping me. And but just once, I used to walk around the block, and it was, man, it would tire you out, you know. I was very, very, very thin and weak, and that's gradually come back now. I'm sort of, I don't know if I'm 100% of the strength I was before, but I'm certainly fit. Yeah.
Why did you lose all the weight then? Was that because you couldn't eat while you after your surgery?
Yeah, it's the thing. Well, I mean, the thing is, an operation like this, like the surgeon said, he said to me, the thing is, he said, what you've gone through, the human being is just not designed to stand up to that kind of treatment. And you must understand, it's an extremely traumatic thing to happen. You know, what are they doing? They're making this huge wound in you. I mean, open you up, you know, and pulling out great chunks of your anatomy, you know, it makes, I mean, all your legs, arms and legs go thin, you know. It's like you're getting all wrinkles like an old person. It was terrible having a bath, you know, like, you're looking down, you see all these wrinkles where you're on your body, you think, oh man, you know, and that was the time that was difficult, because it seemed like I couldn't believe I could ever recover from this. You know, I just looked like I'd been, my body had been decimated, you know, and that it could never make it. I think I was walking around the blocks and going, but the surgeon said, no, don't worry, you can keep going, and you'll find that sooner or later you just suddenly realise that you are doing it. And it was exactly as he said. You know, I was really creeping about, limping about, you know. And then I went for a holiday in Japan, and by the time other people had hired wheelchairs for me and everything in Japan, you know, and the airports and the hotels, and I said, I ain't going around in no wheelchair. And so I struggled along, and then after a few days in, I just suddenly was, well, I'm walking along again. Suddenly I'm walking along with my usual kind of pace, you know, and walking up hills, and so that meant that most of that was coming together again.
So what was it like the first time you woke up after the surgery then? Were you all dosed up on pain?
Oh, that is, so we understand, it's a very long operation. It was 12 hours, I think.
Yeah.
And the kind of anaesthetics they give you to acquire that, it's a lot. And oh dear, when I woke up and I was in the post-operative ward, I suppose it was, and it was night time, and they'd warned me that they said that when you wake up, you may be unaware of what's really happening. You may be deluded, you know. Now I don't remember at all going into the hospital that morning. I mean, I stayed in Cambridge the night before, so I could go in early night. I remember going to Cambridge the night before, but I just don't remember leaving the hotel and going into Adam Brooks and all that. It's gone from my mind. Anyway, I woke up and I went through quite a freaky, like a kind of Kafka job. I was lying there, and there were just this night staff there, you know, a few nurses, and they were just ordinary people, and they're just chatting to themselves, chatting about everyday things, you know, regional accents and that, you know, and yeah, I was certain, and I'm talking about certain, that they wanted to kill me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and no, man, it was like really. I was sitting and thinking, no, come on, calm down. Listen to them. They're just ordinary people. They're here to help you. You know, they're nurses. You know, nothing. But no, they're going to kill me. They're going to kill me. What am I going to do? Yeah. And it was crying. I called to one of these guys, and I ended up. It's embarrassing. I ended up making them. I said, look, I want to see a policeman. Right? And in fact, they went and got a couple of the hospital security guys to come in. Of course, I'm going, he's not a proper policeman. I want to see a proper policeman, you know. Yeah. But anyway, they managed to induce me to calm down a little, and that, you know, the night went by, and I probably went to sleep a bit more, I suppose. But I can remember this time. It was quite frightening, and they said, yes, this is to be expected because obviously there was a lot of anaesthetic gone in there. That was and that was odd, but it was so strong that it kind of. I dig experiences, you know, and I've certainly never had one like that. So I mean, not that I would want one again, but it was kind of dramatic.
So when you're laying there thinking they're going to kill you, are you at the same time aware that you're in there for an operation, or are you just?
Oh yeah, I knew what. I mean, the operation had been done. I'm lying. I knew what had happened because when it started happening, they could see that I was getting upset. They were coming up to me and going, do you know your name? Do you know where you are? Do you know what's happened? And things like that, because people often don't, you know. And I was quite straight, yes, I knew who I was and where I was, and everything like that. But it was just this certainty. I mean, very, very hard to imagine now, you know. It was complete paranoia like that. Absolutely convinced by paranoia like that. And no, I think they were just treating it like that, going, look, no, you know, keep making sure I knew where I was. I mean, I think at one point they had this pipe thing going into my neck, and I pulled it off. I grabbed on it, but they're trying to stop me, and of course there's only so far nurses can go in physically restraining you, you know. And I feel so sorry, embarrassed. I think I'll have to make a special tour of apology, I think. But anyway, I pulled on this pipe, this vessel that's going into my neck. Yeah. Pulled it out, and blood was pouring out onto the bed, you know, and stuff like that. So because I thought they were going to kill me.
Oh my God!
And that was the rest of the time was a lot of it. I mean, I had the operation, then I had infections after the operation, which was very dangerous, and so it was a long time just lying on that hospital bed, lying on a bed with tubes and whatnot coming out of me. I mean, completely, you're so trapped. You know, if you want to go to the toilet, you've got to get up and loop up all these tubes and push them across the room on a sort of trolley. You know, and things like that. So you really are trapped, and that's quite difficult. But as time went by, the more I began to realise that the number of people that were working on my behalf, you know, there were teams that I never saw, you know, trying to work out what antibiotics I needed. You know, they were doing long shifts because it was quite an important issue at one point. They were looking for the right antibiotic. And it meant they had to grow the germ culture from this chest infection in the laboratory, grow it in a dish, and once they can grow it, they know how to kill it, right? But it was taking them a while to grow it. And I remember one day the surgeon was explaining this to me, and as he was doing it, suddenly this revelation hit me. I thought, blimey, all these people doing this complex work, you know, and painstaking work, and that goes all round to all the all the nursing staff and the catering staff and all this stuff, and there's all these people, these teams of people working for your benefit, and certainly at Addenbrooke's they do it. It's just so good there. All of the stuff, they keep the atmosphere. Although I was very ill there, when I look back on it, I have a kind of pleasant feeling because the staff, you know, from the consultants to the nurses to everyone looking up, they're just so nice, man. There's a very good atmosphere in there, and that must help so much.
That's why you're doing this benefit gig.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel, well, there's no doubt about it. They saved my life. You know, if they hadn't acted when they acted, I probably couldn't have been saved. You know, but anyway, they did it. It was an extremely advanced operation, really. Risky. I imagine some of it might have been even a bit experimental. I don't know, but it was a tricky one, and they did it. You know, he's a hero to me now.
Yeah.
Mr. Hugo. He's just so, man. Oh dear, he's so authoritative and. How can I describe him? I don't know. In many ways, he seems very innocent and naive of the world. He just knows about it. He just loves his job, and he just knows about it. He's absolutely dedicated to his job. You know, and if someone like that tells you, look, lie down and get these tubes up you, and that, you do it. You know, I mean, this guy cut this thing out of me, weighed 3 kilos. You know, no, I imagine it's sliced up in bottles somewhere in Cambridge. Now, but mind you, I always wanted to find a place in Cambridge, so I finally made it. I'm on a shelf in there somewhere. Yeah.
You've always wanted to live in Cambridge.
I always wanted to go. Well, it was an ambition of mine to attend Cambridge University back in the 60s. In the event, I went to a provincial university, but slightly more complicated getting to Cambridge. But I've always had a slight hankering for Cambridge, as opposed to Oxford actually, but for Cambridge, and I do love Cambridge as a city very much, you know. But no, I never got in there to study for my degree. But people can have a look at bits of me now.
Right, so you've done a few little gigs, haven't you? Like
yeah.
A few songs on Jules Holland and stuff. Do you feel different now that you're back to, not talking about the tumour being gone, but also they took a lot of other stuff out, didn't they, when they did the operation? Do you feel different in yourself now?
No. In fact, I feel much more myself. I mean, I'm the same shape I used to be. You know, I'd kind of got used to this bloody great big lump flopping about in front of me, you know, but it was never any fun. You know, it's no fun getting up in the morning, you can't see your feet. You know, but that's all kind of right back now, and, well, they've taken away my spleen and pancreas. It means I am now diabetic, and so I'm learning to deal with that, you know, which every diabetic must do. So that's the only triggering all these injections and whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
Find out how to do it, but that's all going quite smoothly, so that's quite good. What I don't know, I mean, as you say, I've done a couple of appearances, get up and play a couple of numbers. What I'm hoping now is that I will have the stamina to do a whole gig, you know, which is a bit different from doing a couple of numbers, although I'm pretty sure I've got it.
Are you going to do any training or anything before you get
I
back?
I even started thinking about that, and I thought, come on, man, you're not going to do that, and I'm not, you know, because I would sort of come out my front door when I go jog, and all the neighbours will see me, and they all know what's going on. So I try and maintain my dignity by walking round the block rather than running round the block.
could jog up and down the stairs.
Now the stairs are pretty good. You can give them a belting, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it, I mean, as I say, I was horribly thin and wrinkly when I came out of the hospital. And I mean, looking now at my arms and everything, it's all back as it was. But my arm used to be really stringy. You know, you could see the bone. You know, and look at my legs. You could see the bones shapes. You know. Yeah.
When they,
but that's all doing okay now.
When they did the operation, I'm sure I read that they took out part of your stomach as well. So
yes, they said that. This tumour was, and one of the difficulties about it, you know, when I was initially diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and that it would kill me in 10 months. Now, obviously the Adam Brooks people have looked at it and thought differently, but yeah, this tumour is involved, or was involved in my stomach, my pancreas, all kind of, it was kind of, I don't know, I've never seen it, right? It sounds quite sinister, this thing being there. Got tentacles everywhere. And yes, they had to take away half my stomach, take away my pancreas and my spleen, but they got it all.
But did that mean that after the operation there was a certain time period where you couldn't eat anything?
It took a time to start working again, whereas you will eat some food, you said a short while later it will emerge out the other end in a certain shape. For that to start happening smoothly and regularly took quite a time. I think there was one point where, oh man, now just stick this pipe up, because up your nose, down into your stomach. Oh man, it's the right to do. Somebody doing that to you, you know, pushing a polystyrene tube up your nose and down into your stomach, right?
Yeah.
And it's wow, it's pretty freaky. You know, you have to be quite brave. But the nurses, man, they're great. They do it. You know, you think, man, they're doing that sort of thing all day long for people. You know, it's just the whole hospital. It has impressed me so much. That's why I'm so happy that my first gig back on this earth can be for their benefit, because my life is theirs. There's no doubt about it. They saved my life, and I would do anything I can to help that hospital.
So, what was your first gig? Your first, was it Jules Holland? Was that the first time you performed after the surgery, or did you?
Yeah, there were just a couple of numbers.
Yeah.
It's always easy to get up. Well, I suppose first of all I couldn't have even done that actually, but it's easy to as I say, I see a fit. Now I feel fit. I feel fine. I'm pretty sure I can see the other things I've done when it's been one or two numbers. It's easy to do.
What was that thing you did at the railway? We saw all the pictures go up. We were jealous that we weren't there.
I should have been like other people there, but I'm afraid it was all done at kind of last minute. Which nothing to do with me, bloody film people, right? But you know, it would have been funnier if there had been more people. There was quite enough people to have a laugh, right? But you know, I've had so many people come up and start having a go at me because they didn't know about it. But I didn't really know about it until that morning. So it was a bit. But that was good. You know, we're playing. It's all playing good. It's all working good. Could we? I wasn't at all exhausted doing that, so I'm perfectly confident that I can play for a full show. Yeah.
What was that filming? That's Julian Temple you were filming with, wasn't it? Is that is it like a sequel to Oil City?
Yeah, well, it's something like that. Yeah, right. Julian's doing it. It's been going on for some time, which has got the advantage that Julian's in the whole the cancer business. He's interviewed me while I've got the cancer. Well, I think I'm going to die. Oh. He's interviewed me the day before I go into the hospital, when I don't know what's going to happen, and he's interviewed me after I've come out of hospital. So as long as other lots, his films are usually intrigue him, I think, you know. But you just never know with him what he's going to come in. He terrified Mr. Hugo, the surgeon. It was great. It was Mr. Hugo's phoning me up. He's going, oh, you're Julian Temple's interviewing me. And he's interviewing me from funny. Mr. Hugo thought he was just going to be a straight interview, you know, sitting at a desk and answering questions, right? He don't realise it's going to get a bit psychedelic. And he's panicking, and he's going, oh, well, look, I hope he doesn't misrepresent me, because, you know, really what I like to do, I just like to do my thing. I just like helping people, and I don't like to be dramatised. And I said, listen, there's nothing you can do about it. Don't worry about it. and he can't. But it was so funny for me to be telling him. You know, normally I'm sitting here like a child gulping at what he says, you know, and this time I'm going, don't worry about all that, you just do it. Yeah.
Oh, so he came and filmed you in the hospital as well?
Did he? Not much. But I think we would have gone there to film, certainly interview Mr. Hugo. Yeah, I think it would be amusing.
Are you lining up another hometown gig now, because you keep getting told off?
Well, I do. I say I'm always the last one to know what's going on. I think this doing this Cambridge gig marks the fact that we're back on the road, and they are at this moment putting together a UK tour, and also several festivals here and there into the summertime. But what they're doing, I don't know. But we're going to start working again, yeah. Which I really want to do, and then it'll all, because it's all so unreal. You know, it's an unreal kind of thing to do, and when you had this enforced separation from it, you know, it just it's a bit fun.
Are you looking forward to getting back on the road, or had you sort of got...
I am actually. There are sort of certain elements of... it's funny, one of the things why I know that I'm coming back to normal and that I'm cured, if you like, is that as I come back, I had that whole year of thinking I was going to die, and it was a magnificent year, really. It just... yeah, I saw a lot of things, and now I sort of, I get apprehensive about starting doing it again and everything like that, but we think you're bound to. But I am looking for, I know that to be doing things is what I've got to do. That when I do, you know, as things stand at the moment, while we're kind of on the threshold of working again, you know, there are days and weeks and that when you actually you're not actually doing anything, and that is no good. You know, that is no good. That is a recipe for getting very unsure about it and miserable about it and whatnot. You know, you just get up and start doing it, and then it all makes sense.
And so, have you been utilising any of this time off for songwriting?
Well, that's something. That's something I want to. I started with a burst of song 2 years ago when I got the initial diagnosis. I started writing songs. Then it all kind of got. I don't know. Quite soon I'm gonna gather together my books and whatnot, and I think I've got a few songs written, yeah, but I've got to start doing that. But again, that's something that works seriously when you got the band, when you're playing together. You know, it's not my way to be, you know, sit up in a garret and write some songs. You know, like yeah. I've got to get the thing working, and the songs are in there.
So you write and compose the songs at the same time rather than writing the lyrics and then trying to come up with a tune?
Usually what happens with me is I find a guitar riff, which I can do either by sitting and twanging on the guitar, which doesn't do much of, but I can hear it in my head, going along with some guitar riff. And then you have to, you think, oh, is this guitar riff good enough to it will carry a thing? And you think, what kind of song is it? Does it sound jolly or angry or silly, or what does it sound? And then you have to find lyrics to complement this guitar riff, and that's the way I generally do it. Sometimes songs come flying in almost complete. When you're doing it, like, sometimes you get a guitar riff and you get a really good line of lyric, and you can't find any other line of lyric to live up to it. So you have to walk around with a song. You know it's a good song. You think, I'm not letting it go till it's right. I'm not going out with really. The lyrics in rock songs they are not high literature, right? Yeah. But I do try and maintain a certain standard. So sometimes you've got a song for a long time. You're just looking for one bloody little phrase that when you found it, you can't imagine what all the fuss was about. This old up writing songs and that, so I'm just have to go into it again, see what happens.
Well, there was a rumour that you were doing another album with Roger Daltrey.
I think it is highly likely that we will do another one with Roger. The first one was so successful, it took everyone by surprise. But it's all part of this mad story. When we were doing it, one of my sort of themes was that this is going to be the last thing I ever do, and it felt all the greater for this. I had a real good time doing it, and I'm thinking, I never thought that I would see it released or get, I got it done, happy with it, and we'll do the same thing again. I think in a few months. What
kind of direction do you think the new material will go? Will it be dealing very specifically with?
Well, one of the things I sort of worry about is and we've all got to face this. We all get to a certain age, right? Now, what is a song? What is a song? In the end, what is it? Baby, I love you, but you've done me wrong. Now, when you're picking up your old age pension, baby, I love you. You got to think different ways. That's just great. Like Bob Dylan manages to write old man songs and sing them. I'll have to try and go down that route a bit.
No, you're a few years off that though, aren't you? Pension age.
Oh, I'm a few years into it, man. I'm 67.
Are you?
Which is another weird thing. I've come parachuting in from all this hospital, this all year of hospital.
Yeah.
And you say, where have I landed? Oh, I've landed in old age. I've got,
Oh,
yeah.
You seem much younger on stage.
Yes, I try and keep my wellspring of youth. If that started going, I think I would have to leave it because I'm a performer more than a musician, and I have to keep a few of my little. I think I'm still fit to do all that.
Do you think, is it the case that when you get on stage you find a sort of an untapped source of energy which you might not necessarily...
Oh, absolutely. How weird that you get on stage and suddenly your personality concentrates down to this thing you're putting across on stage. Now, you might be interested in the arts, the sciences, the sort of whatever and whatever. You leave all that behind. You're just doing this thing. And your aim is to excite the audience. And it means you're not quite in a trance, but you are not the sort of civilized human being we all know and love. You've got to make yourself a little bit kind of a little bit dopey, a little bit kind of primitive, or I don't know what it is. You're putting across a very, very flat picture, like a painted devil, like a Punch and Judy show. I don't know. You put on a show.
And is that draining? How do you feel when you come off again?
Well, I mean, if it's gone good, you've done a show and it's gone good, and people, it's a fantastic feeling, and it's a feeling over the last couple of years that I've really learned to appreciate. Like, not only in doing what shows I have, but in meeting people in the street and everywhere. And I just found out that people are very friendly to me. That's very nice. You feel like everybody's on your side, and it really helps.
And so, do you have a career plan now? Like, is there something particular that you want to achieve now that you're back to work, or are you just taking it as it comes?
I think I kind of fulfilled. I never really had ambitions. I really fulfilled most of the things I want to do in life and in music. I mean, I just got a gold record for this Roger Daltrey album. So at the start of the year I thought it was going to be the last thing I'd ever do. And here I'm getting a gold, and things like that. They're just so outrageous. They're a laugh. Have I got unfulfilled ambitions? I'd love to play the guitar for Bob Dylan one time. But we shall see. I've got a future now, so I can tell maybe muse about things like that. You see, I went for a whole year where you didn't think about things like that because it wasn't going to happen. Everything was going to stop in a couple of months, And, now I've got through the gate,
Well, when you went in for surgery, you had to cancel some appearances, including Glastonbury, didn't you? Do you think you might go back in for Glastonbury?
I tell you what, I really don't know. I'm just hoping that this the music we're doing, that it all works really well. I mean, it all looks like it's coming together really well, and that will make me happy. If it don't go well, I'll have to find something else. But I think it'll go well.
I mean, what are you worried is not good? Are you just worried about your, like you say, your stamina?
Yeah, I think you can you can give it a reason, or but it's just natural, It's been a long time since I've played, so I'm naturally, I wouldn't say I'm nervous, but I'm apprehensive. If one thing, I want it to be really good. I want it to be really good, to have a memorable occasion for Adam Brooks. And you can't, until you get up there and do it, I don't know what I imagine. I was in my mind, I imagined sort of going 1, 2, 3, 4, then falling flat on my face or something. But I don't think I'll really do that. Yeah.
Is Dr. Hugo going to be there?
Oh yeah.
Have you got him a
he bought a ticket, man. He bought a ticket.
Oh, he bought one.
Yeah, because it sold out in 4 hours or something. And he phoned me up, he's all proud, saying he got in early and bought a ticket. I said, you didn't have to buy a ticket, man, you'd be a guest of honour. But that's the kind of guy he is, you see.
Yeah.
This guy is great.
Will you get him on stage?
I don't think wild horses could get him on the stage. When it comes to the operating theatre, he's a master.
Yeah.
But any other kind of theatre, I think he likes to lie low.
That would be good for him, though. It'd be nice for him to see,
It just is so nice, the whole idea of doing this gig, and himself and other people who've looked after me, to be there. I can do that for them, to say, that's a great feeling. Yeah, it's just so appropriate. I mean, I should have been dead now. I shouldn't have been, long dead. And because of them, I'm bloody starting again. So, yes, it is. It's rather special to do that. It gives a point to it all.
Well, yeah, it's great that obviously that they did discover that they could save you, but were you at all irritated that they told you it was terminal when it wasn't?
Tell me what?
That they told you that it was inoperable. when it wasn't?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is a vexed question, isn't it? They initially diagnosed me with pancreatic cancer. Pancreatic cancer is almost absolutely deadly.
Yeah.
2 or 3% survive. And they told me this. They said, you've got this tumour, it's inoperable, you have 10 months to live.
Yeah.
And my way of dealing with it was, okay, I accept it. I'm just going to live out these last months of my life as best I can. I'm not going to spend them running around looking for miracle cures. So I took their word. And it was just that other people came in and with other opinions, and I ended up at Adam Brooks with them looking at it, who said, no, it's not inoperable, we can operate on it. And operate they did. But in the same way that I didn't want to, I just wanted to live as best I could. I don't want to sit there kind of making recriminations, you know. They didn't have it quite, they didn't have it quite right. And the people at Adam Brooks have said, at the stage when they were looking at it, it's difficult to tell. The thing was involved with my pancreas. You know, there was every reason for assuming it was normal pancreatic cancer. And I certainly don't want to. I mean, God, man, I'm lucky. I'm alive. I don't want to start saying I'm alive. Look, you and start criticising people. Man, however it happened, they saved my life.
Well, the other thing, I suppose, is that you had a crazy year that you would not have had otherwise, because that kind of...
Absolutely. I mean, one of the most extraordinary years of my life. I mean, I am... even when it was happening, when I still really believed that I was going to die imminently, I would sometimes sit to myself and think, but I tell you what, it's almost worth it. Because of the, I don't know, the insights and everything it gives you to be in that position. And I'm glad I went through it. It taught me a lot of things.
These songs you started writing, Wilko, are they after your diagnosis? Are you going to keep those for yourself, or are you going to let Roger sing them?
What will happen to them is I don't know. I mean, there's a possibility we can make an. Roger might want to make another album, but it'll be later in the year, and we will be getting off getting tours and doing gigs and that. But I think, I'm going to want to make an album of us, which I've got material for. I'm thinking if we do another one with Roger, I would sort of like it to be my material. I've got enough material from the past, like we did the first one, that that Roger can just do his version of my songs. And I don't know him a bit better now. I mean, I maybe might write something new for him.